Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Tuesday. We're going to dive into Exodus chapter 22 today. And again, same as yesterday, we have to understand that God is dealing with people differently than he is today. He's setting the rules and regulations and putting out some really harsh punishment for their actions. And one thing that we can really learn and be challenged by is really just the soft culture that we live in, or even just the soft parenting, or just even the lack of discipline, the lack of consequences. We feel like people can just get away with anything, and you wonder why people are acting the way they are. Well, listen to verses 1 through 4 of chapter 22, and then I'm also going to read verses 16 and 17, and just listen to some of the consequences that happen when it comes to thievery, or even when it comes to having sex with somebody who is not your spouse. Listen to this. All right, verses 1 through 4. If someone steals an ox or sheep and then kills and sells it, the thief must pay back 5 oxen for each ox stolen, and 4 sheep for each sheep stolen. If a thief is caught in the act of breaking into a house and is struck and killed in the process, the person who killed the thief is not guilty of murder. But if it happened in daylight, the one who killed the thief is guilty of murder. A thief is caught must pay in full for everything he stole. If he cannot pay, he must be sold as a slave to pay for his theft. If someone steals an ox or a donkey or a sheep and is found in the thief's possession, then the thief must pay double the value of the stolen animal. Could you imagine if that was the rules today? I mean, you would think that people would probably, steal less. I feel like we've gotten a lot softer in today's day. But one thing we have to understand here again is God is setting the standard so high. He doesn't want people to do that because he knows what is best. You shouldn't steal someone else's property. You shouldn't treat somebody like that. You shouldn't steal and then sell for a profit. And if you do, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be natural consequences. There's going to be civil law consequences here. Now let's look at verses 16 and 17. Could you imagine if this was the law today? If a man seduces a virgin, and we'll just say man or woman, and vice versa, seduces a virgin who is not engaged to anyone and has sex with her, he must pay the customary bride price and marry her. But if her father refuses to let him marry her, the man must still pay him an equal amount to the bride price of a virgin. Could you imagine that being the law today? I would think that people would honor and respect the other gender and not take advantage of, or even the same sex. We're not even going to get into that. But one thing we have to understand here is that there is a high standard that we should live by. If you know God, if you've accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, we need to see people the way that God sees them. And he's saying here that if you wrong people, there's going to be consequences. Now, even though today's culture is different, even though laws are different, and there is obviously an agenda in today's culture, and but beyond that, we don't live by today's standards. What we need to live by is God's standards, not the world standards, but God's standards. So what has God called you to do? What has God challenged you in to treat other people and to treat other people's property? And so instead of looking at what I can get away with, look at it with, God, how can I honor you? How can I show love and consideration to other people? Let's shift how we view other people, not by what we can get away with because of today's standards, but what can I do to honor you, Lord? Let that be a challenge and encouragement to you today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I should tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.